Hi again. Now we will discuss how to create that rotation or the steering action in Parivrtta Trikonasana. Let's again visit that principle a little bit. When we are holding a steering, my intention is to turn. That is, when I turn the steering, not just a part of the steering will turn. Even if I slightly rotate a car steering or a vehicle steering to the right side, all of the steering will turn such that it turns around the circumference. So the description or the visual of the turning is around the circumference, but what we are turning or working on is also the central spindle of the spine. So the central spinal canal turns through the rotation of the periphery, and when we steer, suppose I hold my hand on the right and left or east and west. As we rotate, the hand that is on the left side spreads and goes down, and the hand that's on the right side spreads and lifts up as if the entire circumference, the hoop, rotates. So after we extend and create that spreading partition, that rotation should depend on the steadiness of the legs, which I first want to visit. When we stand for Parivrtta Trikonasana, sometimes we go from Uttirastha Padasana, where we extend our hand and turn to the right side. But there are also ways by which we step front and back, and at that point we need to be a little cautious, because when we step front and back, suppose the inner thighs are not connected, then the compactness of the hip is lost, and the platform upon which the rotation is built ceases to exist. Let me explain this a little better. So let's say I'm turning to the front, where I turn my front leg turns forward and the back leg turns in. When the back leg turns in, of course, we saw the ripple effect where the back thigh broadens, the back leg broadens from in to out throughout. But as that broadening happens, when I rotate my hip forward, I'm actually fixing the femur in the socket to rotate. So this is a rotation where the femur is out. This is a rotation where, as I'm turning, I'm fixing the femur in the socket. This creates a certain integration, and this integration brings the inner thigh of the back leg towards the inner thigh of the front leg. In the front leg, when the femur extends back, this hip also fixes in the socket. So hip to hip is integrated, so inner thigh to inner thigh are contacted. Here you have to think of a scissor. In a scissor, the two blades are attached by a screw. So when the blades of the scissor open out, that central screw that attaches the two blades has the inner edges of the blades contacting. So the blades slide through the inner edges of the blade contacting, and there is a screw right on top holding it in place. That has to be understood in the context of Parivrtta Trikonasana. When we stand, if there is no connection between the inner thigh and inner thigh, that integration for turning is lost. So when we turn our back leg in, the femur has to be fixed in. When we pull our front femur integrated into the socket, the femur has to be fixed in. And while proceeding in the asana, you should not push the right femur out or left femur out, creating that lack of association. Femur to femur has to be integrated. Inner thighs should be closer to each other, and with that the rotation should happen, and that contact of the femur and the inner thigh should not be forgotten. Now moving to the wall rope usage. I am standing with my legs apart facing the wall in such a way that the rope wall is almost at the center but slightly to the left. Then there I am turning my left foot out completely, left leg out completely, and right leg in, and as that happens, the back hand, that is the left hand, holds the top rope. So my intention is now to create that femur fixation, opening of the back leg, integration of the front leg back, extension of the spine. But while that happens, I'm constantly looking at turning my chest from bottom to top, turning my abdomen from bottom to top, turning my pelvis from bottom to top. And so when I extend, I'm constantly lifting to the rope rather than dropping down. So extend and lift to the rope, extend and lift to the rope. So as I'm going, the action of extending should be such that pressing the backhand. This action of pressing is where the back of the body releases from top to down. I'm pressing and the back of the body releases from top to down. I'm taking my hand off the rope to show you. And the front of the body lifts up from bottom to top. At the chest, at the navel, to create that full rotation.